Guys, if you don't already know, Logan Paul has been in serious hot water recently regarding this whole CryptoZoo scandal. It's gaining a lot of traction recently thanks to Coffeezilla, who's an investigation style YouTuber who made a 3-part series investigating as what he calls Logan Paul's biggest scam. I highly recommend you watch this 3-part series, but if you're not going to watch it, to summarize, basically Logan Paul had a cryptocurrency game called CryptoZoo that he launched with a bunch of other people, and the game didn't fully work, and eventually nothing's basically happened. Developers ran off, yada yada yada. It was poorly mishandled, mismanaged, and Logan is getting basically all of the blame for it because he's the one of the most clout, therefore he's going to take all the blame. But the reality of the situation is that there are also other people to blame as well as Logan. Nonetheless, Logan Paul is not happy about being called out in this 3-part series and has thus fired back at his response here, saying, "My response to Coffeezilla's scam allegations." A 7-minute video came out earlier today, so I'm gonna react to it and give my thoughts on the situation and the overall CryptoZoo situation and see whether Logan Paul defended himself really well. So I'm gonna get into all this right now. But if you subscribe to the channel already, please make sure to subscribe. We are trying to hit 10,000 subscribers, and yeah, man, let's get into this shit right now.
Coffeezilla. I watched her 3-part series called Investigating Logan Paul's Biggest Scam, and like many on this platform, you have successfully used my name for views and money. While your work used to be impartial, your addiction to clicks has clouded your judgment, and you've made very real errors with very real repercussions. Coffee, you took a shot at my reputation, so in this video today, I'm going to be defending myself with facts, something that you have gotten in the habit of twisting as you continue to morph from an investigator to a gossip channel. You see, Coffeezilla tried to work with law enforcement in the past, but his work was described as not anchored to truth and often speculative.
I mean, if you're gonna talk about facts and only bring in facts, then that quote needs to be cited, right? You can't just be like, Coffeezilla's shit was regarded as not anchored to truth, often speculative, and then where's the fact to back that up? Did you just make that up now? Am I too lazy to go and check? Yes, I am too lazy to go and check, but if there was a link there, I could be like, oh, there's a link, it must be true, you know, even if I didn't click the link. But let's keep going.
He is a lopsided journalist with an agenda, and he's nothing more than the Keemstar of crypto and finance. But as opposed
Logan firing all the shots, he's firing back. He called his man the Keemstar the Keemstar of crypto. Oh, he's taking no prisoners today. Oh my god.
But as opposed to just telling you, I'm going to show you some of the core discrepancies that I caught in Coffeezilla's investigation. Coffee, you interviewed the developer who stole the game code, fled to Switzerland, and held it hostage for $1 million. Well, his name is Zach Kelling. Surely, as the internet detective that you proclaim to be, you would know that he spent time in prison for multiple felonies, one for aggravated robbery, armed robbery at a liquor store, and the other for, surprise, obstructing the legal process. I can see why you kept him anonymous.
But again, though, you would have hired him. So if this guy was not credible from the start, why was he on your team for this CryptoZoo project in the first place, right? I mean, if you're gonna discredit the guy for things he did before you even hired him, I mean, you'd think that you wouldn't have that oversight. I mean, maybe he explains it later, but I'm just pointing out the red flags here.
Who will be calling Z here.
I guess among many things, it doesn't surprise me that he lied about having 30 engineers and a $50,000 a week burn rate.
On my end, I have 30 engineers. I'm earning $50,000 a week.
Which, side note, is how this delusionist landed on the $1 million code ransom, but it turns out he only had 3 engineers. Wouldn't someone with journalistic integrity know their credible source had not only an agenda, but a fondness for orange jumpsuits? Or did you just hear what you wanted to hear and moved on? Because even if you're lying to yourself, Steven, you still have to believe it. And I know what you're thinking. What type of idiot would work with an unsavory individual like Zach Kelling? I guess that's what I get for trusting the team that I relied on to vet and manage Eddie's hiring process, who has turned out to be a professional con man that I have since learned fooled billionaires, the Mormon Church, the owner of the New York Yankees, and now me.
I love the way Logan phrased that one. It's like, he fooled billionaires, he fooled the New York Yankees, he fooled churches, and me. Like, yeah, if he can fool all those people, of course he can fool little old me, Logan Paul, right? Like, I'm just, you know, I got no responsibility in this. I was fooled like all these other big corporations. If they can get fooled, you can't have a go at me, right? But nonetheless, there were plenty of bad actors in the situation, and Logan was not the worst actor, I don't believe so. But you have to know who you are hiring at the end of the day, because it's going to have an effect on the entire project.
And surely you knew Emilio, the gentleman who supposedly let his child invest in a cryptocurrency.
Really? Your child? I mean, I don't know how old this kid is, but like, crypto is just manipulated gambling. It's essentially like, it's like a lottery, but with people like weaving in and like tweaking shit. It's like a rigged lottery, essentially.
Was allegedly responsible for 2 rug pulls before you interviewed him. So either you missed that or you knew it and failed to let the public know. Why? Because it was a clear sign that he was also untrustworthy. You seemed pretty excited when the guy told you that he couldn't hatch the eggs.
Wait, you can't even hatch?
No, I'm telling you, it's just a picture.
You're kidding! You can't hatch?
You're kidding. You can't hatch?
You can't hatch?
Yeah, 1 second of research would prove.
I mean, people do get excited once the drama's getting steamy, because it's like, yes, views, attention, it's like, ooh, but you know, obviously you still gotta find the facts. I'm just saying
that to be false, as you can definitely hatch eggs and even breed your animals.
Click on that. Oh, we got a duck.
So Coffeezilla, according to his research, saying that you can't even hatch the eggs, but Logan Paul is saying you can hatch the eggs. So was that a complete lie by Coffeezilla?
And as you pointed out in your fine print, cross-hatching was available on...
Okay, so it was available at one point, but it was so buggy that it was shut down. So that means at one point it could hatch, and then later on you couldn't. So did anyone really lie here, or people just picking the parts of the truth they want to highlight, essentially, to make their points?
On ETH at one point, but you perpetuated the opposite as truth with your chest out.
Basically, nothing worked.
Even if he did, with his chest out, say that you can't hatch, because you can't anymore because it was shut down, he did put a disclaimer in the video to say that it did work at one point, but it was shut down. So he clarified. Therefore, it wouldn't be seen as some kind of lie, even if people fail to read the bottom text, which... I mean, you really should read these things, but then again, no one reads YouTube video descriptions, so I don't know what to say about that.
Almost all NFTs are just pictures.
No, it's just a picture.
And surely a real internet
That's why I shouldn't invest in them.
Criminal and civil laws in trying to get information, right? So why have you allowed the illegal recording of Jeff's phone call without his permission? And then more like an internet criminal, post it.
Yeah, you're not supposed to illegally record people. You need permission for that. That is a real thing. Of course, this is YouTube. It's not a court of law, so people are going to do whatever the fuck and just screenshot people's messages, like violate privacy just to get some attention. But, you know, yes, in a court of law, this would be inadmissible. But we're not watching Suits out here. This is real shit that's going on.
Online.
And it was interesting. It was like, this is wild.
Now, although you didn't verify any backgrounds, substantiate any evidence, took multiple criminals' words as truth, and broke laws, you still published the defamation. However, unlike you, the blockchain doesn't lie. So let's highlight some things that you did point out. Crypto King Jake stole $6 million. True or not, we had already removed him from the team when we realized he was a bad actor and his motives were purely financial. Conman Eddie, lead developer, stole $1.7 million. True or not, when we learned he was a bad actor as well, he was immediately removed from the team. While myself and Jeff sold nothing and made nothing,
which is what Coffeezilla said in his video, by the way.
As verified through investigation and the blockchain.
Jeff, Logan's manager, to my knowledge, never sold. Neither did Logan Paul.
I repeat, Jeff and I made no money and will never make any money on CryptoZoo. In fact, we only lost money trying to pick up the pieces. As has been the case with dozens of crypto and NFT projects, the space is unfortunately ripe for bad actors to infiltrate projects that start with even the best intentions.
Crypto is a wild, wild west. Like, seriously, it is a wild, wild west. And that's why they say you should never invest money that you're not willing to lose, because people be putting their life savings on this shit and then the whole thing goes to shit. Like, seriously, don't invest in crypto unless you've got money to spare. You could lose that and still be good.
Jake the Snake is no longer affiliated with CryptoZoo, and we hope the money he reappropriated was worth ruining his reputation. Conman Eddie.
Well, he reappropriated $6 million, so assuming he doesn't go to jail, it definitely was worth ruining his reputation. I'm just saying, right? Like, if you're gonna ruin your reputation, might as well be for $6 million. Like,
he is being investigated by a higher authority that I cannot speak on. As you can imagine, I was not cleared from legal to discuss much of this, including the legal process being undertaken and the criminal investigations going on during the fallout, but I do appreciate you calling out that rats under my nose stole the game code, millions of dollars, and left Jeff and I abandoned with no team and knives in our back.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing a bit of victim card here. Also, I feel like people love to play that legal card. Like, I couldn't defend myself because of legal reasons. I had to keep my mouth shut, let everyone slander my name. I wanted to say something, but the lawyer said I couldn't. That's why I shut up. It's not because I was trying to figure out what to say and get myself out of this hot water. But, you know, it feels like he's really trying to craft a situation where everyone else was bad and our intentions were pure and yada, yada, yada. We're the victims as well, kind of thing. But people still lost money on this shit, right? At the end of the day.
But even after 12 months of work, you've still managed to overlook one crucial piece of information. See, even though I've said it's coming so many times, you've assumed that CryptoZoo isn't being made. Who are you to decide when the development timeline ends? I got everything stolen from me in our community, stopped promoting publicly as soon as I knew the extent of the internal issues, took all of the heat on social, and you still published a defamatory hit piece fully knowing I was innocent just so you could enrich yourself in your $10 million studio. Deeply unethical.
Okay, so he creates this notion that who are you to say that this project is dead and it's not ever going to get done? I mean, the value of the cryptocurrency has declined. Logan himself admitted that he stopped promoting the project when he realized there were bad actors. So why would anyone in their right mind think that this project is still being heavily worked on when the whole value of it's declined and there's no updates from the guy who owns the most of it, which is Logan Paul, right? Like, if you were still working on it, then you shouldn't have kept your mouth shut. You should have said, yes, there were bad actors, but we are still working on it and we are going to, like, you know, correct course and get this thing out. Here's our updated timeline, right? If you keep your mouth shut and you're the leader of the project, like, people are just gonna be like, what's going on, right? Like, if you logged onto YouTube one day and the site just was down and nothing was working, and then you check YouTube's official Twitter page or Facebook page, and they're not saying anything about it, or they just deleted their account or whatever, you're just going to assume that YouTube is gone, right? No one's saying anything, no engineer, no developers like, here's the issue, this is the timeline on when we expect to fix things. If they just disappeared, it's going to feel like a rug pull at the end of the day. Obviously, that wouldn't happen with a big company like YouTube, but a lot of these smaller companies, and cryptocurrencies especially, they get rug pulled all the time. And I've been involved in a rug pull, like, not me, like, stealing money, but me losing money, where I invested a little bit in a cryptocurrency that was, like, up and coming, and then the rug pull happened, and the Twitter just disappeared, and it was like, yep, it's gone. I'm not assuming they're going to come back and fix things, right?
Dangerously misleading and illegal. I suggest you use the money you got from pumping your Patreon to hire a good lawyer. You're going to need it. And maybe we could have
the all reliable. Whenever someone comes for you, it's like, I'm going to sue your ass like that. You better shut up now or else. You better not slander my name, otherwise we're going to see you in court. It's like, okay, but he's not going to sue anyone.
Talked about this. If you had reached out to me personally, not my manager, Jeff, who is not me, Steven, but the first time you did was on Christmas Eve after you released your series so you could rely on false statements and unreliable people used recklessly. The subject line was third request for comment. Yeah, not quite. This will be my third time reaching out to you and your team.
So it says, this is Steven with Coffeezilla. This will be my third time reaching out to you and your team. The first 2 times were through your manager. Now though, thanks to you joining my Patreon, I've gotten the chance to reach out to you directly. I find this pretty interesting. He's insinuating they wasn't able to reach out to Logan directly the first 2 times, so he reached out to the manager. Logan's now saying, well, you didn't come to me directly, therefore you posted this piece without my, like, ability to respond and comment, because usually when you're doing a documentary and you're accusing someone of something or investigating something, you usually give them an opportunity to respond. But if he contacted the manager 2 times and the manager didn't get to you, I mean, that's your manager, right? Isn't that his responsibility to go, hey, I was contacted regarding CryptoZoo. Maybe that would be the way to get into Logan's, like, you know, vicinity and get a response. If that didn't work and now he's come to you directly, I mean, at the end of the day, you could argue he still made that point of contact. You know, if you were hard to reach, you were hard to reach. So who is to say that there was no real approach made here?
The first 2 times were through your manager, Jeff. The first 2 times were through your manager, Jeff. Okay, so the last time on Christmas Eve, after the fact, was to me. You have a funny way of twisting things. And I also noticed you left out that part on Twitter.
It says here, it makes me sad to see you try and discredit my work given how many times I've reached out in good faith. Nevertheless, once again, I want to invite you to tell your side of the story on my platform. If you have nothing to hide, this should be a no-brainer. We can chat about everything CryptoZoo. I would extend the same invitation to Eddie, Jeff, and Crypto King as well. But yes, again, at the end of the day, the way to reach someone who is notable, like a celebrity or whatnot, is usually to go through their team, like their manager. So you can't say he didn't reach out to me directly as if Coffeezilla's just got Logan's personal cell. Like, he reached out to the manager twice. The manager gave a response, chose not to involve Logan in this, chose not to give Logan an opportunity to, respond to this thing. It's no surprise that he wasn't able to reach Logan until after the first part went out.
Trust me, CryptoZoo is coming. I will make damn sure of it. And honestly, it sucks that after years of personal reform, going through trials and tribulations, and busting my ass to evolve into a person that I can say I'm actually proud of, you led the charge to drive and monetize a narrative telling millions of people that I'm a fraud or I tried to scam my audience. That is patently false. This video is mainly for my fans and anyone who's on the fence that I hope I can help understand a situation that is tremendously complex but has been oversimplified for both views and clicks. And lastly, Coffeezilla, I now know your motives with this. Clout and money, good for you, but also your
You mean everyone's motives on YouTube, right? I mean, like, that's why we're here, right? Come on.
slimiest. So I'm not going to come on any of your podcasts. If you want to come on Impulsive and talk about this, that's fine. You've denied my invitation multiple times. You're still invited. It can be a one-on-one. If not, we're going to handle this ourselves.
You're saying he's not credible, therefore you wouldn't go on his podcast, but he's credible enough to come on your podcast. I mean, I don't see what makes the difference. I mean, there is a difference in that if I was Coffeezilla, I wouldn't go on his podcast in the Wild Wild West when you just accuse them of a lot of shit, essentially. But either way, this is probably something that has to be done online through some kind of mediator to make it a bit more fair.
Continue to build CryptoZoo, and I'll see you in court.
So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty interesting video. I mean, you can see it's hella disliked. I've got the plugin that shows the dislikes. It's not fully accurate, but you can tell that it's majority dislike. I feel like Logan did the best he could do under the circumstances, which is, try his hardest to defend himself, shift as much blame as possible to the other bad actors in the group, and combat Coffeezilla's reputation. I mean, what else could he have done? I feel like the one thing he should have done that he didn't do was taking a bit more responsibility for his part in the whole thing. And for the record, I'm not like some huge Logan Paul fan or anything like that. I mean, I didn't really like the Paul brothers much, but after the KSI fight with Logan, I started to see a bit more merit to him, and obviously I subscribed to Impulsive. I never subscribed to his main channel though, but yeah, I feel like Impulsive makes some decent content, but I'm not like a fanboy or anything like that. And I didn't know about Coffeezilla until this Logan Paul scam situation. But yes, I do believe that Logan should have taken more responsibility in this video, because at the end of the day, if the people you worked with are bad actors and they are part of the business that you are a part of, then you have to take responsibility for it. You had the majority stake in CryptoZoo, and they're going to come to you when it's time to blame someone, just like they would have come to you and praised you if it went well. Now, on the topic of Coffeezilla's videos, again, I don't even think he placed the majority of the blame on Logan. Like, if you actually watch the videos, the titles and the thumbnails are going to put Logan there because, again, clicks and views and whatnot. But you actually go through the content, you can see that Logan Paul does own the majority share of the thing, and you can see that they had rules for selling because they didn't want to impact the market and turn it into a rug pull. Obviously, they were still going to profit off of early currency because that's what all these cryptocurrencies do. They all do that shit. But that in and of itself is not illegal, because when people create their own cryptocurrency, they do give some of the tokens to themselves, or the people involved in the team, so they can make a profit when it goes big. That would have been fine had the actual product been released, right? It's the fact that no product was released in the end that everyone just got rug pulled so quickly. And on top of that, Coffeezilla did admit that Logan and Jeff never sold, whereas the other people, Eddie Ibanez, made about $1.7 million, and Jake the Crypto King made $6 million off of this thing. So Logan and Jeff supposedly made no profit off of this thing and just took the heat. But again, doesn't really matter if you're supposed to be responsible for the project in the first place, right? There were multiple bad actors, and clearly Logan wasn't able to manage this thing properly. And I think the ultimate question here is, were Logan's intentions pure? I mean, we'll never really know this for sure because we're not in his head, right? But was the intention to scam and rug pull people from the jump in his mind? Or was the intention to actually deliver a quality product, and the scamming just kind of happened because he worked the people he shouldn't have? And that's the question that I want to see answered, because at the end of the day, this thing happened in 2021. This thing was launched, and basically all these plans were there, all these things were supposed to happen, and in 2022 it was like radio silence. So it's natural that people are going to assume that the scam is over, the whole thing has been rug pulled, it's a wrap, And it's in Logan's best interest now to actually finish CryptoZoo, just so it looks like, oh yeah, everyone else was bad, and I came in and I fixed everything, and I made everything good again, and that would probably be the best way to salvage his reputation right now, because what's done is done. People are already going to lose some respect for him from this CryptoZoo situation, but if he does go and finish the game now, and it actually works, people should rightfully be hesitant in investing in some shit like this after what's already happened. But at least if he finishes the game and it fully works, they could be like, oh, maybe it wasn't a scam, maybe everyone else was the bad actors. But we'll see how this affects Logan Paul's reputation in the long run. I feel like he can still recover from this if he does finish the game. But at the end of the day, you can't just slap your name on a company and when everything goes left, just blame all the other people that you helped hire, right? That's not how it works. If Amazon fell apart today, everyone's gonna be like, Jeff, what's going on? Bezos, what's going on? Right? Like, if Facebook fell apart, they're gonna be like, Zuck, the fuck? Like, that rhymes. But they're gonna be like, what's going on? They're not gonna be like, it was this developer's fault and that developer left and ran off with it. No one cares. So, Logan, sort this shit out, get this CryptoZoo thing working, and salvage your reputation as much as you can. And Coffeezilla, well, you've already made the money and the attention, so I mean, you're doing great right now. Keep at it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this situation. It's a very tumultuous situation. Did I use that word correctly? I'm gonna Google that shit. Yeah, I definitely used that correctly. It's been a very tumultuous situation, and we'll have to see how this whole thing pans out. But yes, don't invest in cryptocurrency unless you can afford to lose that money. It's as simple as that. Because me and my dad, we invested in cryptocurrency, and it was mostly losses, more losses than gains. There was one crypto we put a quick £500 on because we were like, we're not really sure of it, but we put a little £500 on it, and it multiplied by 36 times, and it became £18,000. And I was just so annoyed because we could have just, if we had taken all the money we put in crypto in total and just put it on that one thing, we would have been super fucking rich. But because we wanted to spread our risk and put it on a bunch of different things that didn't make money, we didn't really get to make the riches that we would have liked to make. But it is essentially gambling. Crypto is like a lottery that people are manipulating. And if you're not going to be involved in the manipulation process, you're most likely just going to get screwed. Because in crypto, for someone to win, other people have to lose. Just like in Mario Kart, you can't all be first place. Someone has to be first so that someone else can be second, third, fourth, 12th, whatever. So again, don't think you're going to get rich quick off some Logan Paul cryptocurrency. Don't fall for the bullshit, okay? But yeah, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell. More content coming soon to the channel. But it's your boy, PREMulous, Rem Gang. And I'm out.